beam and the 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 beam, Mr. Beast, I'm back, boys. I might have slept a little too long. I accidentally fell asleep, and that's what happens. But I'm back here. I got 2 more streams. This stream and another stream I have to do tonight. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Trying to learn how to say Mr. Beast in Klingon and in Dothraki, but it's really not going well because I can't figure it out because there's no really good translations up there on the internet. But I'm gonna keep struggling at it, and my goal today is right now in this stream is I'm gonna at least learn how to do it in Russian. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Monsieur Bet, Monsieur Bet, Monsieur Bet, Monsieur Bet, Monsieur Bet, Monsieur Bet, Monsieur Bet. Whoa. Monsieur Bet, Monsieur Bet, Monsieur Bet, Monsieur Bet. Di Carlo, 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 Di Carlo. What is this one? Di Carlo, Di Carlo. Asseio dos do washu. Asseio 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 do washu. Beast Dossi, 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 Asseio washu. Asseio do 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 washu. Beast Dossi, Beast Dossi, Beast Dossi, Beast Dossi. Signor Beast, 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 Signor Beast. Yashu, what is this? Yashu sings. I'm forgetting what I've learned. Yashu sings Sheng. It's not that. That's not right. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Joseph, you're first here. Yes. Did you just start? I sure did. Pretty much just started 3 minutes ago. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Yashu Seng Sheng. I can't remember how to do it in Chinese. Yashu Seng Sheng. Is it because I'm saying like Shang Tsung, like, which is a Mortal Kombat character, and I know that's not how you do it.
先生兽
What? What is this?
野兽先生
Yashu Seng Shang.
野兽先生
Xian Shang.
野兽
Yashu
先
Seng Shang.
生
Yashu Seng Shang. Yashu Seng Shang. Yashu Seng Shang. Yeah, it is like Xing Shang. Yashu Seng Shang. Yashu Seng Shang. Yashu Seng Shang. Yashu Seng Shang. Mr. Beast, 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 Yashu Sing Shang, Yashu Sing Shang, Yashu Sing Shang, Yashu Sing Shang. Now, I don't get this, man. If you put a dot in front of the mister, it's like a whole other word. And I've noticed that with a bunch of other things. So, Yashu Sing Shang, Yashu Sing Shang. So I'm going to look up. Okay, I need to look up this. It's the beastman, 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 the beast. Mr. Beastman, the 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 Beast. Miss the Beastman, 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 the Beast. Okay. Someone wrote down for me how to say it in Russian. The problem I'm having, which I need to know, is how come when I put a dot in front of the mister, it turns into a whole other word. So, what I need to do is I need to turn this, see what happens when I go to Russian, see if I get the word that this guy says, or if I get a whole different word.
Мистер Зверь.
I do.
Господин Зверь.
Hi, Shane. Mr. Beastman, the 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 Beast. What's up? You want a treat? Is that why you're here? Let me get that gook out of your eyes. It's the Beastman, the Beastman, the Beastman, the Beastman, the Beast. You get too much guck in your eyeballs, man. It's the Beastman, 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 the Beast. Mr. Beastman, the 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 Beast. Okay, so I get a whole different word if I type a dot in to Google Translate. So if I take the dot out, I get this one word, and the one word is the exact word that that my buddy showed me. So from here on in, if I want to learn any other languages, I gotta do it without the dot, and that way I'm guessing I'm doing it the correct way. Mr. Beastman, the 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 Beast. Mr. Beastman, the 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 Beast.
미스터 비스트.
That means Mr. Pisspan is the correct way to say it in Korean, not the other way. Mr. Beastman, the 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 Beast. Monsieur Pisspan.
미스터 비스트.
Pure.
미스터 비스트. 미스터 비스트.
Mr. Peace.
미스터 비스트.
Pure. Mr. Piss 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 Pure. Mr. Beastman, the 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 Beast. Oh man, I don't want to change all these. Now it says the Latin one is wrong.
MR bestiam.
Amere Beastium.
MR bestiam.
See, this is all messed up, man. Every single thing is messed up. I don't understand why putting a dot in the word changes the complete meaning of the word. I guess I'm just gonna stick to saying Mr. Beast then. Mr. Beastman, the 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 Beastman, Mr. Beastman, the Beast. Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Oh, come on. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Mr. usually written in the abbreviation form, Mr. with a dot or Mr. without a dot is commonly used in English. So Wikipedia just says the same thing. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast. Let's see what happens if I type in the whole Mr.
Señor Bestia.
Señor Bestia. That's right. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast. Señor Bestia, Señor Bestia, Señor Bestia, Señor Bestia, Señor Bestia. Señor Bestia, Señor Bestia, Señor Bestia, Señor Bestia, Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast.
سيد الوحش.
Señor dear.
سيد الوحش.
So Arabic's wrong. Man. This sucks, man. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. So I messed up Arabic, so that's wrong. Wait a minute. I say you do washu. I say you do washu.
سيد الوحش.
Say you do wash. Okay, so it's actually is take off the end piece. I say you do wash. I say you do wash. So you don't put the shoe at the end. Okay. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. I say you do wash. 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 Well, that's easier. By the way, happy late birthday. Oh, thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah. Well, it's 19 days ago. But thank you. I appreciate that. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Latin.
Mr. Bestiam.
Okay, so that one's wrong. I don't know what Di Carlo means then. Di Carlo. Well, good thing I spent hours learning that. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast.
Mr. Bestiam.
Mr. Beastium. Mr. Beastium, 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 Mr. Beastium. Let's see, where's French? Mr. Beastman, the 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 Beast. Yes, the Beastman, the Beastman, the Beastman, the Beast.
Monsieur la bête.
Okay, so that one's wrong. It's the Beastman, 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 the Beast.
Monsieur la bête.
Monsieur. It's the Beastman, 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 Beast. Monsieur la Bête. Monsieur la Bête. Mr. Beastman, the 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 Beast. Mr. Beastia, 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 Mr. Beastia. Monsieur la Bête, Monsieur la Bête, Monsieur la Bête, Monsieur la Bête. Okay, that one's garbage. It's the Beastman, 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 the Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beastman, the Beastman, the Beast, Mr. Beastman, the Beastman, the Beastman, the Beastman, the Beastman, the Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beastman, the 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 Beast, Mr. Beast.
미스터 비스트.
Oh yeah, Mr. Beast Beer. Mr. Beastman, the Beastman, the Beastman, the Beastman, the Beastman, the Beastman, the Beast. Mr. Beastman, the Beast. Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, Romanian.
Mr. Beast.
Mr. Beast. So Romanian is just, they're telling me it's the exact same thing. Mr. Beastman, the Beastman, the Beastman, the Beastman, the Beastman, the Beastman, the Beast. Mr. Beastman, the Beast. Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast. Mr. Beastman, the Beastman, the Beastman, the Beastman, the Beastman, the Beastman, the Beast. Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast. What's Don la Bestia then? What is that? What does that mean? Says it means the exact same thing. I don't know, man. Mr. Beastman, the 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 Beast, Mr. Beast. Yes, the Beastman, the Beastman, the Beastman, the Beastman, the Beastman, the Beastman, the Beast. Yes, the Beastman, the Beastman, the Beastman, the Beastman, the Beast, Mr. Beast. The Beastman, 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 the Beast. What am I doing? I messed that up. Mr. Beastman, the 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 Beast, Mr. Beast. The Beastman, 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 the Beast. The Beastman, 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 the Beast. It's the Beastman, 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 the Beast. It's the Beastman, 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 the Beast. Miss the Beastman, 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 the Beast. Miss the Beastman, the Beastman, the Beastman, the Beastman, the Beastman, the Beastman, the Beast.
Beast aussi.
Beastossi, 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 Beastossi. Beastossi, Beastossi, Beastossi. Okay, that's the same. Sweet. So Japanese is the same, I guess. Mr. Beastman, the 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 Beast. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast.
野兽先生，
野兽先生。Mr. Beast, Mr. 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 Beast. Okay. Monsieur Pispier, 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 Monsieur Pispier. I say you do wash. 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 Mr. Beastism? What is Latin again? Give me a break. Why does it say M. Carl now? Before it said D. Carl, and then it said Mr. Beastism. Now it says M. Carl. Like this Google Translate knows nothing at all. It's giving me 3 different things now. If I put a dot, it's D. Carl. If I take the dot away, it's M. Carl. And if I put the entire word, Mr. No, now it's giving me a whole other word, which is magistery or something.
Magister bestiam.
At what time did Emily say she's going to join chat? That was the last chat. She never said she was going to join this one, but I'll let her know for ya. Mr. Beastman, the 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 Beast. Mr. Beastman, the 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 Beast. Yes, the Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. She said okay, so maybe she'll come in and visit. Well, Latin has now given me 4 different answers, so I guess I'm just gonna go back to the one that I already spent 4 hours on. Which is D. Carl. 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 And Monsieur le Beast. No, Monsieur la Bête. Monsieur Bête. See if, I don't know, man. This whole thing's confusing now. And now it's no longer fun. I need to give up. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Man is the beast, Mr. 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 Beast. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Is a beast, Mr. 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 Beast. Okay, let's try his beats again because last time YouTube wasn't loading them, so I don't know. Seems like it's working now. Yeah. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. The curl. This is too slow. I don't like it. It sucks. It sucks, man. Yeah, you no. No. This one sounds like sucks too. I made these beats too, but I guess I'm over them. Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast. What is it? Well, you should ask Emily what her Facebook is when she's in here. Mr. Beast, 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 please, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, boy, Mr. Beast, 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 Miss Pierre, Monsieur, Mr. Pierre, 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 Beast Tossy, 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 D Carl, 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 Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. 夜手信箱，夜手信箱，夜手信箱， Yasha sing shang, yasha sing shang, Miss Bees, Mr. 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 Bees. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Yasha sing shang, yasha sing shang, yasha sing shang, yasha sing shang, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, yasha sing shang. Yasha sing shang, Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Sing Yasha. Sing your beast, 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 sing your beast. Mr. Beast, 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 sing your sing shang, yasha 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 sing shang, Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, 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 Monsieur, Monsieur. Monsieur, Monsieur, Mr. Beast, 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 Monsieur le Beast, Monsieur le Bit, Monsieur le Bit, Monsieur le Bit, Monsieur Bet, Monsieur Bet, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Monsieur Beast, Monsieur Bet, Monsieur Bet, Monsieur Bet, Monsieur Bet, Monsieur Bet, Monsieur le Bit, Monsieur le Bit, Monsieur le Bit, Monsieur le Bit, Monsieur le Bit. Monsieur le Bit, Monsieur le Bit, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast. I say you do wash you. No, I say you'll do wash. 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 Beam Master, I have returned now. Say burns for 12 hours. What? Beam Master. Mick, Lovin'. Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. I say you'll do wash. 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 Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, D. Carl, D. Carl, D. Carl. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Yasha sing shang, yasha sing shang, yasha sing shang. Yes, sing song, Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Bean boy, do you not remember me? I asked to visit India with you. Yes, I know. You're going to share the beans. You want me to go there? You want me to take the beans? You want me to put them in somebody's hand and then be like, okay, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast. I remember. You want to put beans into the children's hands. Of course I remember you. And I said, I'm willing to go. Let's do it. But you gotta buy me a ticket because it costs too much. Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast. Don't Domna la bestia, 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 domna la bestia. Domna la bestia, domna la bestia, domna la bestia, domna la bestia. Bistasi, 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 bistasi. Signor bisa, 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 signor bisa. Monsieur le Bête, 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 Monsieur le Bête. Decaro, 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 decaro. Assail du wash, assail du wash, assail du wash, assail du wash. Monsieur Pispire, Monsieur Pispire, Monsieur Pispire, Monsieur Pispire. Sounds French, but it's not. It's supposed to be Korean. Mr. Pispire, 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 Mr. Pispire. Mr. Beastman, the 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 Beast. It's the Beastman, 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 the Mr. Beastman, the 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 Beast. Mr. Beastman, the Beastman, the Beastman, the Beastman, the Beast. What's up, Shane? Mr. Beastman, the Beastman, the Beastman, the Beastman, the Beastman, the Beast. You come to visit me again? What's up? Mr. Beastman, the 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 Beastman, ah. Mr. Beastman, 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 Senor Beast, 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 Senor Beast. 夜手信箱，夜手信箱，夜手信箱。He's so cute. Yo, look at that. Oh, look at you, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast. Donna la Beasta, Donna la Beasta, Donna la Beasta. You just came for a treat, is that it? Was that a burp? Did you just burp, buddy? Mr. Beastman, the 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 Beast. Mr. Beastman, the 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 Beast. Bean boy, do not ignore me. I tell the beans. I didn't ignore you. I answered your question. I totally remember. You wanted to go and you want me to go to India, get beans, put them in people's hands. And I said, buy me a plane ticket. And I'm coming. Mr. Beastman, the 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 Beast. I changed the Beastman, 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 the Beast. D-curl, 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 D-curl. D-curl, 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 D-curl. I say a do wash, 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 I say a do wash. I love you, Bean Boy. We go India and tuk bean trucks where we give beans to the bean lovers and we love each other with beans. Oh, gotta go. Be right back in 23 minutes. Mr. Beastman, the 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 Beast, right? It's a beastman, the 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 beast. On a scale of 1 to 10, what is your favorite shade of bean color? Red. It's the beastman, 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 beam, the 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 beast. It's the beast, 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 Mr. Pispia, 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 Mr. Pispia. Mr. Beatman, the 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 Beatman. Red is not a number. My being friend, you make me cry. Please, may play Roblox and have beans together. Bean boy, read another comment, please. I am literally shaking right now. Number 11, Mr. Beatman, the 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 Beatman. Mr. Beatman, the 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 Beatman. 呀手心香，呀手心香，呀手心香，呀手心香。Monsieur Labiste. No, Monsieur Labette, 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 Domna Labeste, Domna Labesti, Domna Labeste, Domna Labeste, Domna Labeste, Domna Labeste, Domna Labeste, Domna Labeste. Domna la besta, 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 domna la besta. Bees tossy, bees tossy, bees tossy, bees tossy, bees tossy, bees tossy, bees tossy. Yeah, it's the J-Man Show, 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 J-Man Show, the 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 J-Man Show. Hooray, you said the number of all numbers. Hooray. However, you are fool bean boy, as 11 is not scaled from 1 to 10. Bean boy, I curse you. No beans for you. We no longer make life and beans. Oh well. Mr. Beatman, the 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 Beatman. I say you to wash, 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 I say you to wash. D Carl, 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 D Carl. 一手心香，一手心香，一手心香，一手心香，一手心香，一手心香，一手心香，一手心香。Monsieur Labette, Monsieur Lebet, 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 Monsieur Lebet. Beastossi, 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 Beastossi. Signor Beasta, 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 Signor Beasta. It's a beastman, the 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 beast. Mr. Beastman, the 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 Beast. Mr. Beast, will you never see this? Bean boy, give up. Mr. Beastman, the 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 Beast. Miss the Beastman, 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 Beast. Mr. Beastman, the 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 Beastman. Beast, Aussie, 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 Beast, Aussie. Yes, sunshine, 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 sunshine, yes, sunshine, yes, sunshine. It's the beatman, 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 the beast. It's the beastman, 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 the beast. Decarl, 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 the beastman, 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 the beast. It's the beastman, 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 boy. Mr. Beastman, the beastman, the beastman, the beast. Mr. Beastman, the beast. Mr. Beastman, the beast. Yeah, boy. Beans. Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast. Beastman, the 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 beast. The beastman, 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 the beast. Carl, sing your pieces, 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 sing your pieces. Mr. Beastman, the beastman, the beast. Mr. Beastman, the 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 beast. Yeah, the beastman, 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 the beast. Mr. Beastman, the 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 Beast, goodbye. Mr. Beastman, the 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 Beast. Yes, sing song, 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 decal, Mr. Beastman, the 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 Beast. I say you do wash, 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 Mr. Beastman, the Beastman, the Beast. I say you do wash, decal. I say you do wash, decal. I say you do wash, Mr. Beastman, the Beast. Save him. Mr. Beastman, the 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 Beast. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Beast saucy, 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 beast saucy. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Beast saucy, beast saucy, beast saucy. Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast. D curl, D curl, D curl. I say you do wash. I say you do wash, Mr. Beast. Oh yeah, rock and roll, boy. Rock and roll. There's just a couple here I can't get. Señorita, I can't say that at that speed. And I didn't say Monsieur Le Beast, Monsieur Le Bet, and Donna La Bista, 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 Don Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast. This one's faster, even faster. This one's gonna be mostly in English because it's faster. It's gonna rock though. Mr. Beat, 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 D Carl, Mr. Beat, 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 Mr. Beat. Monsieur Bet, Monsieur Bet, Monsieur Bet, Monsieur Bet, Monsieur Le Bet, Monsieur Le Bet, Monsieur Le Bet, Monsieur Le Bet, Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, D girl. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. I say you do wash, 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 Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast. I say you do wash, I say you do wash, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, I say you do wash, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, D Carl, D Carl, D Carl, Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Senor Beast, 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 D Carl, 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 Senor Beast, Senor Beast, Mr. 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 Beast. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, 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 Miss your bed, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, sing your bed, miss your bed, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, sing your beast. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, 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 sing yours best. Sing your beast, sing your beast, sing your beast, sing your beast, sing your beast. Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast. Oh, I fell off the beat. Trying to do all these other ones. 一首新香，一首新香，一首新香。 It's a beat, and the 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 beat. I kind of screwed that one up, but good thing I'm doing this a whole bunch of times. So whatever ones I screw up, you can just forget them. What is this one? This one's one I don't think I've ever played yet. Because it's really fast. It's a beat and the 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 beat. It's a beat and the 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 beat. It's a beat and the 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 beat. It's a beat and the 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 beat. It's a beat and the 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 beat. It's a beat and the 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 F's in the chat. Amy, rap song. Rapping Mr. Beast. Rapping Mr. Beast. No, I heard it again. That's no good. The beast. Oh no, what was the name of that one? I don't want to accidentally play it again. Is that what I'm about to do? Oh, this one says it's 155 beats per minute. I gotta go halftime. There's no way I could do it really fast. I'll try, but I'll just. This is super slow, actually. But Mr. Beast. No, it's just, that would sound stupid. Mr. Beast. Monsieur Pissier. Say you do wash. I 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 say you do wash. Mr. Beast. 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 Beast Dossie. Beast Dossie. Beast Dossie. Senorita. Senorita. Mr. Beast. This is so slow. This is like putting me asleep. There's a beam and the 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 beam. Okay, last fast one I did was 140 beats per minute. That's what this is. So I was able to pull the last one off. I should be able to pull this one off. D Carl, 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 D Carl. That's Latin for Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast in Latin. D Carl, D Carl, D Carl, D Carl, D Carl, D Carl. But I can't do all the other languages at a speed like that. The beam and 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 the bees.
I haven't got a clue either, Buck.
There's a beam and the 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 boo big boo big boo boo. 要手心香，要手心香，要手心香。How are you gonna do this? I'm almost done. I'm on the 6th day. I took breaks. I slept. You know, some could say that's faking it, but I don't care. I do what I want. You know, rules up in here. We're in uncharted territory, people. You just joined. Well, thank you for just joining. I appreciate it. Amy Berry, Amy Berry, Amy Berry, Amy Berry, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, El Beasto, Mr. Beast, 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 Beastosy, 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 D Carl, D Carl. Sing your bisa, 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 Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast. I say you to wash, 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 I say you to wash. And Mr. Beast Beer, and Mr. Beast Beer, Mr. Beast, 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 Monsieur Lebet, Monsieur Lebet, Monsieur Lebet, Monsieur Lebet, Monsieur Bed, 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 Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. I say you're the wash. 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 Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast. Sing a beast, Mr. 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 Beast. Beast Tossy, Beast Tossy, Beast Tossy, Beast Tossy, Beast Tossy, Beast Tossy, Beast Tossy. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Saber some, saber some, saber some, saber some. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. D Carl, D Carl, D Carl. Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast. Beast Tossy, Beast Tossy, Beast Tossy. Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast. Sing your beast, sing your beast, sing your beast, sing your beast. Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast. Saber some, saber some, saber some, saber some. Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast. Yes, Beast. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. 亚手心枪，亚手心枪，亚手心枪，亚手心枪。Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast. D Carl, D Carl, D Carl. Mr. Beast. The only one I couldn't say is the Romanian one. Domna Lebesta, Domna Lebesta. I'm thinking of too much crap in my head that I can't, like, I know I won't execute it properly. Because I can't think about it before I do it. I just have to do it and hope for the best. But I did French, Japanese, Spanish, Arabic, Latin, Chinese, and I haven't done Russian yet. And I did a little bit of Korean, and I did it backwards a few times. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Donna la pista, donna la lista, donna basista, donna la pista, don't. See, I can't do it. That's kind of a weird beat. Do I play Fortnite? I don't really, but I have to play. I'm gonna play in next week. I'll play some. I used to play, but I don't play anymore because I play Apex Legends now. And that's the way that goes. Okay, this one's gonna be another fast one, I think. But this one we haven't played yet, so we'll see. See how it sounds. I'm gonna have to go crazy fast though. Hey, you're too old to play video games now. No. Bother caps, 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 bother caps. This beat sounds like it sucks. How am I supposed to rap Mr. Beast to this? It's the beat and the beam 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 and the Buck just had a birthday. He turned 42. It's too old to play video games. Nope. No. Mr. Ballcamp. That's true, man. I played a video game, man. I'm gonna stop this live stream and go play video games just to prove you wrong. No, I won't do that. Mr. Bean, Mr. Bean, Mr. Bean, Mr. Bean. Donna la Vista. Donna la Vista. Beast tossy, beast tossy, beast tossy, beast tossy, beast tossy, beast tossy, beast tossy. Sing your beast, 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 sing your beast. D girl, D girl, D girl, D girl, D girl, D girl, D girl. I say you do wash, I say you do wash. I say you do wash, Mr. Peace Fear, Mr. Beast, 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 Beast Tossy, Beast Tossy, Beast Tossy, Beast Tossy, Monsieur la Beast, Monsieur la Beast, Monsieur la Bête, Monsieur la Bête, Monsieur la Bête, Monsieur la Bête, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, sing your beast, sing your beast, sing your beast, sing your beast, Mr. 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 Beast, 呀手心香，呀手心香，呀手心香，呀手心香 ，Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Donna la Vista. Donna Belisa, Donna Belisa, Donna la Vista, Donna la Vista, Donna la Vista, Donna la Vista, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Donna la Vista, Donna la Vista, Donna la Vista, sing your beast, sing your beast. Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, 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 sing your 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 beast, beast tossy, beast tossy, beast tossy, beast tossy, beast tossy, beast tossy, D Carl, Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. I say you to wash, 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 Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast. I say you to wash, D Carl, Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. I say you to wash, I say you to wash. Say you to wash, I say you to wash, Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Sing your la bit, sing your la bit, sing your la bit, sing your la bit. Beast tossy, beast tossy, beast tossy. Sing your beast, sing your beast, sing your beast. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Saber some, 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 saber some. Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast. 呀手心香，呀手心香 ，Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast， 呀手心香 ，Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast， 呀手心香 ，Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast。I say you to wash, I say you to wash, D curl, D curl, D curl。 Why do you not play Fortnite anymore? Because I felt as after playing Apex Legends, I felt like Fortnite felt slow. At first, like I couldn't really beat anyone in Fortnite, and then I played like Apex Legends, and like, I felt like mediocre. But then when I went back to Fortnite, I was just killing everybody because the game felt so slow. I learned there's like an auto aim, so you just kind of like, if you just click on it really quick, it just auto aims to the person. You just wipe out like an entire army. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. I can't believe some of you are still hanging out with me after all this. We're on the 6th day. It's so annoying. I think I'm done. I think my dad's gone crazy. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Does anyone want a job counting how many times I said Mr. Beast? How many hours do I have left? Well, I have today and tomorrow, but I've really been slacking off. Bottle caps will tell you. I've decided that I'm just going to do as much as I feel like doing because, as far as I'm concerned, this is uncharted territory. However, we did see somebody else that's doing some sort of live stream, but I think it's fake. I don't know. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. How many hours? Well, I don't even know. I don't even want to say. I got no clue. I do have to add the hours up for earlier today, though, so I can tell you how many hours we're at. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Are these hours correct? What is going on here? Oh no. Okay, we have to add another one. So we did 3 hours and 15 minutes earlier today, which makes a total of 68 hours so far. Boy, 68 hours. Mr. Beast, 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 beast. I gotta learn how to say it in Russian.
Мистер Зверь. Мистер Зверь.
Mr. I don't know how to pronounce that.
Мистер Зверь.
Yeah.
Мистер Зверь. Мистер Зверь.
I don't know that. I can't do that. I don't know. It's a Z, and then a V, and then an E, and then an R. But for whatever reason at the end, it sounds like a S. And
Мистер Зверь.
what's up? RB Morbid is in the house. We got a plate. We got to play a place. We got to place a play for you. Place a blue blah 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 for you. We need a good beat. Let's see. Let's find a good beat for you. Mr. Beastie, Mr. Beastie, Mr. Beastie, Mr. Beastie. RB Morbid, RB Morbid. RB morbid, 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 RB morbid. Yeah, boy. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Beast, Aussie, 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 Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, sing your beast, sing your beast, sing your beast, sing your beast, D Carl, D Carl, D Carl, D Carl, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, sing your 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 beast, Mr. 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 Beast. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Now backwards, Mr. Beast. Saber some, 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 saber some. Now forwards, Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Now Latin. D Carl, 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 Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, D Carl, D Carl. Arabic. Say you do wash, I 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 say you do wash. Now Spanish. Sing your bisa, 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 sing your bisa. Now Japanese. Beast, Aussie, 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 Beast, Aussie. Now Korean. Mr. Pispia, 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 Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast. Now Chinese, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast. Yasha Sinshan, Yasha Sinshan, Yasha Sinshan, Yasha Sinshan, Yasha Sinshan, Yasha Sinshan, Yasha Sinshan. Yes, the sunshine, Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. The only one I haven't done yet is Romanian. Donna la Bista, 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 Donna la Bista. Oh yeah. A little sloppy. Sing your Bista, sing your Bista, sing your Bista, sing your Bista. Nice, nice, nice. Yes, yes. You gained 3 views. Thank you, viewers. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. I can go up to 145 beats per minute, but I could do 140 beats per minute. Pretty normal. Well, I looked at Hindi, but on Google Translate, they don't have the sound for it. Like, so I have to translate it without hearing it. So I don't know if I could do that. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't know. I tried to look up Klingon and Dothraki, but without hearing it, I don't know. Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast. Oh, I didn't do French either, did I? Monsieur le Bit, Monsieur le Bit, Monsieur le Bit, Monsieur le Bit, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast. This one sucks. This beat sucks, man. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. I need a beat that's so freaking fast that I turn it off really quick and go, oh, I can't do it. This one says 172 beats per minute. It can't be like that. It's probably like halftime. Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast. This one sounds crappy. Crappy, oh crap. Okay, I'm gonna skip it. I dare you to travel to ancient Rome. Or you dare me. How about you bet me? Put your money where your mouth is. Put your money where your mouth is. Mr. Beat, 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 Mr. I don't know how to do that. I can do that. I can juggle while I do it. Oh, all right, time to pull out the guitar. Visit him every day since he started his content. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Singing pieces, singing pieces, singing pieces, singing pieces. D Carl, D Carl, D Carl, D Carl. Singing pieces, singing pieces, singing pieces, singing pieces. D Carl, D Carl, D Carl. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. 亚手心香，亚手心香，亚手心香，亚手心香，亚手心香，亚手心香。Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast. 亚手。I couldn't do all the different things at that speed. Even saying Señorita was hard at that speed. How do they do it? Well, they probably don't do it at that speed. I don't know. Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, oh Mr. Beast, oh Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, oh Mr. Beast. I say you do wash, I say you do wash, I say you do wash, Mr. Beast. I say you do wash, I say you do wash, Senor Beasta. Beastossi, 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 Senor Beasta. Beastossi, 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 Beastossi. Say the sum, say the sum, say the sum, say the sum. Mr. Beast, 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 D. Carl. 亚手心香. My fingernail was like the strings were getting caught. Should we do a metal version? Metal on guitar? Metal on acoustic guitar. No, that didn't sound right. You should check out his, yeah. Sorry. Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast. I'm not playing that right, am I? And do a poison version. Every Mr. Beast has its tongue. Every Mr. Beast has his sub. Just like, what do you call it over on Twitch when you get a subscriber? They don't call it a subscriber, do they? On Twitch. Mr. Beast has a sub. Just like on Twitch, they got lame Twitch thoughts. I don't know what I'm doing. Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast. I can't do Mr. Beast and play it at the same time. Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast. Megadeth. Megadeth, Megadeth. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Oh, whoops, I messed up. Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast. Something. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, I don't know. What else? What other Megadeth do I know? I don't know. Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast. I can't do it. I can't. If I was doing the real lyrics, I could do it, but I'm trying to change everything to Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast. What else do I got in my bear? Crazy train. Mr. Beast Traino. Mr. Beast Traino. Man, I learned the riff, the main riff, but I don't remember it. Oh wait. No. There we go. Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast. I don't remember the rest of it. Mr. Beast, 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 I found saying Mr. Beast really fast. When I go Mr. Beast, 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 it sounds like a Metallica song. Well, I can't even think of the name right now, but I could play the riff. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, a bit. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. I can't do it on acoustic guitar. If I whipped out an electric amp and stuff, maybe we go all crazy, but Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast. Oh, no. Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Mr. Beast, 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 Beast, Mr. 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 Beast. Mr. Beast, 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 favorites by them. Yeah, you boy, let's do this. Mr. Beast, the beast. I can't play against time anymore. It's just, it's what happens when you have a song that just blows up that big. You start hearing it, everyone's like, oh, not that one again. I'll be right back, bro. Love chilling with you. Be back in a few minutes. Cool, sounds good. I gotta get back to going Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. I don't know how I do what I do, and I do figure what I better. This guitar's not even in tune. Boy. I think I just put more on a tune. There's a bass. There's a bass. There's a beat. Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast. 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 Mr. Beast. Carl. Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, yeah. Mr. Beast, Beast. I go crazy some days cause I keep saying Mr. Beast over and over and over. That's what happens when you go crazy. Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast. There you go. When will you do what? Lodi? I don't know Lodi. I don't know. Is that a song? Lodi da. Oh, is that? Is that what you're talking about? Lodi da 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 da. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, 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 How long can we possibly say the same word over and over? What? When will you do load? Oh, load the album? Something. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast, Beast, Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast, Beast, Mr. Beast, Give me beast, give me geese, 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 give me beast, give me Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast. I was trying to remember how Hero of the Day went. Oh wait. I realized I just had to think about it. Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, oh Mr. Beast. Something. I don't know, man. I ain't in the map. Well, I ran out of stuff to do. Play the one I played 2 nights ago. I forget the chords. Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, oh Mr. Beast, 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 Something like that. Yeah. Bug flying around here. What time do you go to bed? I never sleep ever. Never, ever, ever, never. I never sleep. Never, never. Except, well, later. I mean, I don't know if that's what you're talking about. Obviously, I go to sleep later. Yeah. Trying to think, what other songs can I play for you guys? I just don't know. I just don't know. Played all the songs that I know. Whoa, yeah. How do you sound like the Beatles? How do I sound like the Beatles? I don't know. How do you do that? How does one do that? What's up, TVX Bass? What? TVXBAS? Something like that. Mr. Beast, oh Mr. Beast, 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 I know it kind of sucks, but I haven't played those riffs in a very long time, many years, so I think I did all right. Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, the beast. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast. Wait. I don't remember the freaking chorus. Something about that doesn't sound right. What do you think? Probably not, eh? Something's a little off, I think. It's an Anthrax song I like. Song called Only, but it's only a little bit of it. Do you love Ranger? Do the Lone Ranger song. I don't know the Lone Ranger song. Is that the one that's like something like that? And it goes like ding 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 ding. I don't know Gunsmoke. I don't know none of that stuff. It's a joke. Mr. Beam, the beam, and 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 the beam. Okay, then play some Green Day. It's Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast. Oh, Mr. Beast, oh, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast. Oh, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast. Oops. I screwed it up. Mr. I gotta find the right tone for my singing first. I can't do it. Sometimes I just can't sing songs. I go crazy like that. And it's like literally the same chords almost. See, I had it going there, and then I lost it. Oh well. Just making a fool of me on the live stream. Something I can never get rid of ever. It's gonna be with me for the rest of my life. Oh my god. For the 3 people watching. Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast. I messed that up, didn't I? That's okay. I'll try again. This time will be better. I figure you probably want to see the guitar. Set my face. Messed it up again. Oh yeah, I just thought of one. I don't know. That was terrible. It's all I know, people. I gotta put the guitar away because one thing you learn about playing music for an audience, you have to learn to leave on a high note. Back in the day when I was in a band stuff, we'd be like, oh, they want us to keep playing, so that means we should keep playing. And the bar owner, he wants us to keep going because he wants to keep serving drinks. So he's like, yeah, keep going, keep going. But then you're like, oh man, we already did all our good songs because we thought our set list would be like an hour long. And then so we're like, well, what else can we play? You know, what about that one we were working on? What about that other one we haven't played in like 7 months? What about that one where we learned half of it but not the other half? You know, and then it just slowly goes downhill. Yeah, but you left on a low note. Oh, nice. That was good. That was good. I didn't even see that coming. Well, see, this is why. Well, if that was a low note, I want to know where it would have gone. I need a coffee. Maybe if I get a coffee, it'll remind me of all the songs that I forgot. Go get coffee. I brought my coffee because I thought this challenge was going to be way more harder, or I was going to make it harder on myself than I actually made it on myself. Now I'm so tired of this challenge. I'd go into the kitchen and make a coffee, but when I first started this challenge, I was like, I need everything in this room because I'm never going to leave this room for 1 week. Yeah, that changed quick. Well, not super quick. It took like 3 days. But now that we're on the 6th day, yeah. Mr. Beast. Me completing this challenge is just me saying Mr. Beast at least once every 5 minutes. Not really. I'm doing much better than that, but I don't mind talking to you guys. Because during this whole ordeal, like, there's been hours where I went just saying Mr. Beast to myself for when no one was even here in the chat. I just went over and over and over. Mr. Beast, 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 Mr. Beast. Sometimes I thought YouTube was broken because no one was showing up. You watch hours must be fantastic. Yeah, they jumped up a lot. Quite a bit. 20 something hours a day, sometimes 13. It's good because I need it because last year, this right around this time, I had a video blow up and get 65,000 views, and that bumped my watch time up. But because you need 4,000 hours within a year, now that that video is a year old, all that watch time gets like taken out. And so it's like having a whole bunch of hours just dropped in one day. So that's one good thing that happened with this live streaming, which wasn't really planned, but I realized it after, and I was like, "Oh, that's good." Well, I messed up. I put too much water in here. Now I'm having like cream. Oh wait, I'll figure it out, people. I'll figure it out. Okay, it's the beam and 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 the beast. I'm gonna use this coffee creamer, which is not the best, but it's good when you fill your coffee up too full to the top because it doesn't take as much mass or weight or whatever you call it. There's a beam and the 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 beast. So yeah, I'm gonna count all these Mr. Beasts after. It's the beam and 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 the beast. It's the beam and 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 the beast. I figure if I've been live streaming for 68 hours and I'm going to go back and watch all 68 hours to count how many times I said Mr. Beast, probably take me longer than 68 hours. It'll probably take me like 75 hours or more. So I'm going to rough estimate. I'm going to try to play it at double speed. Or I might just give up and not do it. It's the beam and 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 the beam. Got flies up in here, Miss Beast and the beam 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 and the beam. Keep dying at Fortnite. Sorry you hear that, Miss Beast and the beam 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 and the beast. Freaking fly right in front of my face. It's these little small baby ones that never land on anything. They just keep flying. It's the beam and 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 the beast. I say you to wash, 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 decarl, 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 decarl. In Korean it sounds like Mr. Piss Pan, but it's actually Mr. Piss Purr. Mr. Piss Pure, Mr. Piss Pure, Mr. Piss Pure, Mr. Piss Pure. Mr. Piss Pure, 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 Mr. Piss Pure. 要手信箱，要手信箱，要手信箱，要手信箱。Beast, saucy, beast, 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 saucy. Sing your beast, 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 sing your beast. Freaking flies, man. Sing your beast, sing your beast, sing your. Domna la bestia, domna la bestia, domna la bestia, domna la bestia. Monsieur Bet, Monsieur Bet, Monsieur la 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 Bet. Monsieur le bed, 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 Monsieur le bed. The beam and 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 the beast. This fly is driving me crazy. Mr. Beam and the 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 beast. D Carl, 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 Senor la Vista, Senor la Vista. I say you do wash, 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 I say you do wash. Monsieur Pispire, Monsieur Pispire, Monsieur Pispire, Monsieur Pispire. Mr. Pispire, Mr. Pispire, Mr. Pispire, Mr. Pispire. Oh, this fly. Oh. I'm going to leave this live stream soon because this bug is just, this fly in my face is just bugging me. It's just me and somebody else. Yeah, probably bottle caps is. Now I got a big fly in front of me. It's the beastman, the beastman, the beastman, the beast. The beastman, 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 the beast. Well, Amy, I appreciate you being here. It's the beastman, 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 the beast. Getting this live stream in 4.5 minutes. And I will be back on tonight. I gotta do another live stream in a bit. But I'll take a break, try to kill some of these flies. I think I got that one. It's the beastman, 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 the beast. It's the beastman, 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 the beast. So yeah, probably come back in an hour, start up again. It's 8:20 my time, so around 9 o'clock. And I'll probably go till maybe midnight. Who knows? 9 to midnight, something like that. It's probably the shortest live stream I've done yet. During this challenge, I've been here for 1 hour and 20 minutes. Really? Wow. Well, you are a super trooper. I really appreciate it. If you're back more, I'll put you on the board with all these other people that are super troopers. Look at that. It's the beastman, 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 the beast. He's just sitting around playing Fortnite. Mr. Beastman, the 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 Beast. Sing your beast, 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 sing your beast. 亚手心香，亚手心香，亚手心香，亚手心香，亚手心香。I say the do wash, I say you do wash, I say you do wash, I say you do wash. Monsieur la bête, Monsieur la bête, Monsieur la bête, Monsieur la bête, Monsieur la bête. Donna la bista, Donna la bista, Donna la bista, Donna la bista. Subs, nice. Sweet. Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beastman, the 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 Beast. It's the Beastman, 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 the Beast. D Carl, 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 D Carl. Monsieur Visitor. I don't know how to do. I can't do the Russian one. Get out of here, fly. It's the beastman, 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 the beastman. It's the beastman, 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 the beastman Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast. Mr. Beastman, the 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 Beastman, D Carl, 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 D Carl. Beastasy, 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 dumna la beasta, dumna la beasta, dumna la beasta, dumna la beasta. I have here since 8:05. Oh, 8:05. But wherever you are, your time's different than mine, I'm sure, because right now it's 8:23 here. Mr. Beastman, the Beastman, the Beastman, the Beastman, the Beast. And it's PM, by the way. Mr. Beastman, the 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 Beast. Mr. Beastman, the Beast. Oh, okay, I'm going. 12 2. Okay. I'll be back in an hour. If you're around, you want to hang out, you're totally welcome to come by. Appreciate you. I will see you again soon either way. Cheers for a bit. Bye.